Alright, today we're going to jump right into the code. We will talk about what a plugin's architecture should look like. Before starting, I'd like to say you should be familiar with Git and GitHub. If you are not, well, don't worry, but you should start getting comfortable with them right away. That's your basic toolkit as a developer. Now, let's open the local. Make sure your site is running. Now, we can open the WordPress dashboard and we can open our project in VS Code. So first thing, how do we actually create a plugin? Where does a plugin live? You guess it. Yes, inside the WP content folder, then inside the plugins. That's the sweet home for all the plugins. And here we are going to create our new plugin. Let's give our plugin a name. Our first plugin. Here is a quick naming tip. There should be no underscores, no spaces, no camel case, no fancy emojis. Just use hyphens. This is not mandatory, but this is a good naming convention. Also, make sure your plugin name is unique. Why? Because one day when you submit it to WordPress.org, the name becomes your plugin slug, and plugin slug must be unique. If we go to the WordPress plugin repository, and click on any plugin, it will take us to the plugin space. Now look at the URL. Here we can see a slug name. After this URL, we can see another plugin. We can also see here is another slug name. Like this, every plugin has a unique slug name. If we want to check our plugin slug name is unique or not, we can just simply type our first plugin. If the plugin already exists, WordPress will take us straight to that page. Like if we type Jetpack, we can see WordPress takes us straight to that page. Okay, so we have to make sure that our slug is unique. This is our first check. Next, inside our plugin folder, we will create a PHP file with the same name as our folder. For example, if our plugin folder name is our first plugin, the file name should be our first plugin.php. It is not a strict requirements, but it is a good naming convention. It keeps our code base clean. Now, if we write something random in our PHP file, hello developers, and then if we go to the plugin space, will it show it up? No. Why? Because WordPress has no idea that this is our main plugin file unless we tell it so. How do we tell it? Yes, with plugin headers. Basically, a blog comment at the top with some keywords. We can write blog comments. First, we must have the plugin name, and this is required. Without it, WordPress will just pretend our file as does not exist. Let's add and check. Plugin name, our first plugin. Oh, nice. This is showing up now. But wait, there are more available header fields. Like still we don't have any description, version number, the author name, the plugin URL, right? Let's go to the code. The next field is plugin URI. This is the homepage of the plugin, preferably our own website. And this must be a unique URL. Here, we cannot use WordPress.org URL. We have to put our own website URL here. Like we can IO. Let's check now. If we click on the link, it will take us to the plugins directory on our own website. Okay. If you noticed on some plugins a link view details, this only shows when your plugin is approved on wordpress.org. The next is description. A simple description of this plugin. This is a simple plugin. Here you can see the description is here like this. Okay, and we have to keep the description less than 140 characters. The next is version number. Like version, we can set a version number like 1.0.0. This is the current version number of this plugin. If we reload this, notice the version number 1.0.0. This is not random. This is the first digit is major, the second digit is minor, and the third digit is patch. Major, minor, patch. When you fix some small bugs, the last digit should be updated. Okay. When you add some small new feature, little enhancements, the second digit should be updated. And the first digit is for a big update, a lots of new features. Okay. The next is requires at least like 5.2, the lowest WordPress version that the plugin will work on. The next is requires PHP like 7.2, the minimum required PHP version. Next is author like Asad, the name of the plugin author. Multiple author can be listed using commas like Asad, Jamal, etc. Okay. The next is author URI, the author's website or profile. Like we can set a demo. Now save it and check. Great. You can see the author is linked in now. The next is plugins license. Like GPL, GPL v2 or later. You can get more information about licensing in WordPress.org guidelines. Next is license URI. Like this is the GPL v2 link. The next is text domain. Like we can set our text domain with using hyphen. This is helpful for internationalization. If we want to know about the other header fields, we can go to WordPress plugin development handbook. We can go to the link plugin basics and header requirements. Yeah, here you can find more information about the header fields. Okay, you can see the plugin name, the plugin URI, description, and the others. So back to our code. All right, so in WordPress we can write plugin code in two different ways: procedural way or object oriented way. Procedural means just write simple functions and attaching them into hooks directly. But remember, when you are using procedural way, you should always use prefix for the functions. Otherwise, it might clash with your WordPress core or other plugins. If we use prefixes, there will be less possibility to conflict with other plugins or other function names. Let's see a quick example. function OFP procedural message. Here, this is the prefix OFP. That means our first plugin. We take the first letter of every word. Okay. This is not mandatory, but this is a good practice. And we can write a hook, add action, admin, notices, and we can simply put the function here. Here we can show our message. If we write a simple message, just echo procedural PHP activated. Here I have written a simple function that shows a message in admin notice. Okay, let's activate the plugin and see this. We can go to the plugin section, reload. Nice. Here you can see this message is here. If we deactivate this plugin and activate it again, it will show the message. We can give a simple style to this message like this box. Okay, so if we wrap this text in div, also we need a p tag, and this is a WordPress class and the class name is updated. Okay, and we can set a color like style color red. Now reload this. Nice. Here you can see the message with a simple style. Okay, now the same thing in object oriented style. Let's see. We can comment this. We can write a class OOP message. You can write a constructor function, public function construct. We can register the hook, add action, admin notices, and here we can set the function like show message. Now we write a method, public function, we can just simply copy this text and change OOP. Okay, now you know in object oriented programming we must instantiate the class. Yes, this is done. Now we can see the result. Okay, great. Now we can see the message is here. Here is the important thing to remember. For small projects, the procedural way works fine. But in larger professional projects, object-oriented style is always better because it makes code clean, organized, and reusable. Before start writing your plugin or theme code in WordPress, always put the following code at the very top of the file under the block comment. Let's write it. Defined ABSPATH or die. Yeah, why we write this code? Because if someone tries to access your PHP file directly from browser without going to WordPress, it will instantly block them. Let's see. First, we need to comment this code, and we can comment for temporary and write a message. Hello from hackers. And if we go to the browser and try to access the file, WP content, plugins, and this is our plugin folder name, and this is the file name. Okay, you can see we can directly access the file, our first plugin.php. Okay, so let's active the restriction. And now reload this. Great. Now no one can access our PHP file directly from browser. Okay, this code is simple, but this is one of the most powerful code for security. Let's talk about one of the coolest parts of WordPress, that is hooks. There are two main types of hooks, actions and filters. Actions hook let you insert some extra functionality at a certain point, and filters hook let you take some data, modify it, and give it back. Easy. So let's see some examples. We can write under this code, add action, init hook, my plugin init, function error log, the plugin is initialized. The init is one of the most common hooks. This hook fires when WordPress is fully loaded, before anything is sent to the browser. So if we want to register custom post types, taxonomies, run some initialization logic for our plugin, we need the init hook. Okay, so if we want to see the message in log file, we need to activate the debug mode from wp-config file. Let's do it. wp-config, we need to set it true. Also we need to set the wp debug log as true. Now save this file. You will see a log file will be created under the uploads folder. Okay, if we go to the plugin and deactivate, first we can reload this, deactivate and activate it again, and go to our code. You can see the log file is here now, and this message is showing here. Okay, the next is register activation hook. Register activation hook. The first argument should be the PHP magic constant file, and the second argument is our callback function, like my plugin activate. The use of this register activation hook is when we activate a plugin, sometimes we need to run some codes. Maybe we want to create some custom database table or set up default options. That's where the register activation hook comes in. In the first argument, we should put the file path, current file path, and file name. The PHP magic constant, this magic constant indicates the current file path and file name. And the second argument, this is our callback function. Now we can write the callback function. error log, simply we can write a message like plugin activated and a custom database table is created. Let's see the result. Now you can see there is no message. There is no message in the log file. If we go to the code, deactivate this plugin and activate it again and back to the code, you can see this message is now showing here. Okay. And of course, if you can activate, you can deactivate. Yes, the register deactivation hook is for cleaning up and stopping things when the plugin is stopped. Okay. Now let's write register deactivation hook. The first argument is the file constant and the second argument is our callback function plugin deactivate. Now write our callback function. Simply we can write a message here like plugin deactivated and maybe the just stops or etc. Let's see the result. We can go to the plugin page. We can again activate and deactivate the plugin and back to our code. And if we go to the log file, you can see the plugin deactivated and maybe the cron jobs stopped. This message is showing here. Okay. The next is register uninstall hook. Register uninstall hook. The first argument is the file. The second is my plugin delete. Function we can also write a simple message like plugin deleted clean everything up. Uninstall is different. Deactivate just stops the plugin, but uninstall is like remove me completely from your life. So when we use register uninstall hook, we should remove the custom database tables, options, or anything added by the plugin. It's like a backup. Even don't leave your toothbrush at their place, right? So let's go to the plugin page. Before we delete this plugin, we need to do a backup. So first we can take a backup, then we can delete this plugin. Okay, back to our code. Now you can see there is no plugin here. Okay, so if we delete this, we need to extract our plugin again. Okay, so here is our plugin. Now you can see the codes. If we go to the plugin page again, we can see the plugin here. We back to our code. So let's look at one of the most famous filter hooks, that is the content. Like add filter the content, add message to post. Function this hook literally gives you the post content before it is printed, so you can manipulate it, add something, or completely change it if you want. Okay, let's see. WordPress will give us a parameter like content return content, and we can simply show a message like we can use the p tag, and we can write a message like thanks for reading, and we can set a little style like style color green. Let's say this. If we go to the post and if we open the single post, we can see nothing. Why? Because we didn't activate the plugin, right? It is showing a fatal error. So let's check our code. Yeah, we forgot to give a semicolon, right? Let's check again. Reload, activate, and reload this page. Nice. This is our custom message. Okay, back to our code. Okay, let's do something a bit more fun. Now we are going to create a new simple plugin that will calculate the estimate reading time of the post content, and we will add this above our post content using the content hook. Let's see. We can name our plugin like post reading time. We can create a file like post reading time.php. Okay, so we need the blog comment first. So we can copy our blog comments and paste it here. Sorry, we should start with PHP. So we can just change the name like post reading time, and we can change the description. This is a simple plugin for calculate the estimate reading time of post. Okay, and we can just change the text domain. Yeah, our text domain is post reading time. Okay, so first we write this code for security, then we can write the hook, add filter, the content post reading time. Now we can write the function post reading time. Okay, so WordPress will give us a parameter like content. First we can count the words in our post, so we need a variable like word count equal, we need a built-in PHP function that is string str word count to count the words in our post. Also, if anyone insert HTML tags in our content, we also need to remove this with this PHP built-in function strip tags. Okay, now we can pass our content. Now we need a estimate reading time equal scale. The scale function round the value to the upper, like it will make 2.23 equal to 3, 5.34 5.24 equal to 6, Okay, so first we need the word count, then 200, and we assume that user can read 200 words per minute. Okay, so we need a message variable equal em estimate reading time. Now we return our message first, then we want to show the content. Okay, let's see the result. We need to go to the plugin page, reload, and you can see our new plugin is here, activated. And now if we reload the page, great, our reading time is showing here. If we increase the text, like if we go to the post and if we just copy and paste the text and save it and reload it, nice, now you can see our plugin is working fine. That's all for class 2. Hope you guys enjoyed the class, but don't worry, this is just the beginning. Things are going to get even more exciting there. Keep coding, keep experimenting. See you in the next class. Till then, happy coding.